And welcome, or if you're new here, just welcome back to my channel. My name is Rusty, and this is where I talk about my favorite horror movies and my favorite metal music. And yeah, welcome to day 4 of my second Shark Week. And tonight we are going to be talking about 2022's shark bait. Yes, with the little slipcase and everything. Now, Shark Bait was released in 2022, and it was directed by James Nunn. It was written by Nick Saltrese, and it stars Holly Earl, Jack Trueman, and Catherine Hannay, and a few other people. So yes. Now, I really like this movie, of course, or it wouldn't be on my spotlight. I wouldn't be spotlighting it. Now, this movie opens with a typical group. We have Natalia, or Natalie. I don't know which one. They just call her Nat. And Tom, Millie, Tyler, and Greg. Now, they are on the last day, or well, it's the day before the last day of their spring break. So they're down in Mexico where they're having a little fun. And yeah, we get introduced to the characters. As usual, there's one that's a real asshole, and the slutty girl, and the smart girl, and the couple who's cheating on the other. It's typical. And they go to a party that night, so it's the night before they're going to leave. Natalie walks to the bar to get some drinks, where we have our Crazy Ralph moment. She runs into a beggar who is in a wheelchair, and she notices that he's missing his legs at the knee. Where he talks to her in Spanish, she can understand a little of it, and she says that he warns her, to be careful, and that his legs were eaten off by a great white. So yeah, it had that little Crazy Ralph thing where he warns them about it. Now, they had no real intention of doing anything, so I don't know exactly what he was warning her about, except a general warning. So the next day, they're still out, they're still partying. Natalie wants to go to bed, but of course everybody's like, this is our last day. Tonight at 6 p.m., we get on a plane and we go back home. So we're going to stay up and we're going to party and just sleep on the plane. Now, the 3 goofy guys, they decide, playing around on the beach, they notice a jet ski place. It's not open, but hell, why not commit crime just for the hell of it? So they are just going to borrow the jet skis. They jimmy the door, they get in, they get the keys, and they convince Natalie to come with them. She doesn't want to go, but they convince her to go with them. And they take off out into the open ocean on these 2 jet skis. So it's only 2 jet skis for 5 people. So they get out there and they're playing around, and they're doing figure eights, and they're playing chicken on the jet ski. Every stupid thing that you could imagine 5 drunk people who haven't been asleep for 24 hours and are fucked up on tequila would do, they are doing it. So, during one of the chicken fights, the 2 of the jet skis hit each other. It disables one of them, like it's fucked. It's not going anywhere. And you have the people left, floating in the water, wondering what the hell to do. And of course, during this wreck, Greg had gotten his leg broke. So already we're in some problems. Greg's got his leg broke. He doesn't know what to do. They're all trying to pile on this one jet ski. that's not going to work out too well. Also, the jet ski's got some kind of problem. It won't crank. So, they don't know what to do. They of course, have no signal on their phone. They don't know what's going on. When one of them, Tyler decides that he is going to try to swim to this boat that they had passed a ways back. So he's going to try to swim to that. Now, of course, we have a little bit of drama, because what would a movie be without drama? And that is that while Natalie is holding her boyfriend, Greg, while she's holding Tom's phone, she actually sees pictures of the other girl, Millie, and him all snuggled up, all cuddled up, talking about what a great night that they had. So they've actually, not only have they slept with each other, but Millie says that she's not the only one. So of course, we're having an issue. It's the tag on this shirt. I thought something was sitting on me back. But so of course we have this little drama fight. She's like very upset, which you can imagine. And Millie and her, they're kind of like in a pretty big fuck you mood. And Natalie's of course in a big fuck you mood with her boyfriend Tom. So we have this little bit of drama, and during the fight, while they're fighting with each other and shit, Tom wants the phone back. Probably because there's no telling what the fuck else she's gonna find on there. Bam, bam, boom. They drop the phone. There you go. Of course, they dropped the phone. Damn thing didn't have no signal way out there anyway, so who knows? But still, So Tyler is going to take off, and he's going to do that. So he's going to try to get to this other boat, and if that doesn't work, he's going to try to find the shore to get help. So while he's swimming off, we get to see the first appearance of our menace, which is they see a fin. Now, he's already gotten too far, and he can't hear them, and they're screaming at him. So they, of course, get the fuck out of the water. So now you've got 4 of them on there, and they're also dealing with this Greg, because Greg's got a really nasty leg break, So that's some of the drama that is going on while this is happening. So they scream at Tyler. They all end up panicking, which you don't want to do on a jet ski. 4 people panicking on a jet ski isn't going to work out very well. So they, of course, all fall in the water. Now, this is where we get our first kill, unfortunately, which is Greg. He gets snatched by this shark, who is like pulling him up. Very great scene. Of course, I'm skipping over a lot. I'm trying to make this shorter. These videos shorter. People have no attention span. They don't want to discuss. They just want you. Never mind. So the shark is dragging Greg away underwater. It was a great scene. Unfortunately for Natalie, she was holding on to him, and her hair is stuck in his watch. So he's in a death grip, pulling her with him. So the shark's got him in its mouth, and there it's going, and she's been just pulled along for the ride. You know what I mean? So she manages to get free. We see Tyler is still swimming. He knows zero about all of this that's going on back there with his friends. And Natalie also then, she manages to get away. And when the guy's watch comes off, it's a really ugly scene, surprisingly. Then she ends up telling them about the Great War, about the Great White, what the guy had said. The beggar had told her about the Great White to watch out. So Tyler manages to make it to this boat while all this drama's going on, because they're now scared shitless. Only when he gets to the boat, he does see a guy up there on this boat, and he's trying to like wave at him and trying to get his attention when the shark swims right between him and the boat. Now this is the first time he knows anything about a fucking shark. So he starts trying even harder to get a hold of this guy on the boat. But of course, he's unable to get his attention. He starts splashing and swimming, which you should never do. I mean, it's human nature to react that way, but it's exactly what will draw a shark to you. So he doesn't get the guy's attention, but he does get the shark's attention, and that is a very ugly, nasty kill as well. So, when I write, instead, the dude gets the attention of the shark. Now, the other three are left just waiting, because now we're down to 2 kills already of the 5, and the 3 are on the boat. They're really upset, freaked out. They don't know what's going on. You get a lot of talk and forgiveness and apology and what the fuck are we going to do as the sun starts going down. They do keep seeing a boat here and there, because I mean, they're not like 10 miles offshore or anything. They're only, maybe a mile, 2 miles at the most off of shore. So they do keep seeing, but the ocean is very big. So even though they're only like 2 miles offshore, no boats ever come close enough to see them. They're getting more and more upset. They start thinking that, one of them is going to have to swim for help. So Tom tries. He takes off and tries. And of course, the asshole of the bunch is actually the least brave of the bunch. You have to give him credit, though, knowing everything that just happened. He does try. He doesn't get very far, though, before he starts having a legit half bottle of Xanax panic attack, right? So he is not going to be able to do it. So he comes back to the boat. I'm sorry. And Natalie, she just stands up, playing Sigourney Weaver, and she jumps in and she's going to take off instead. She doesn't get very far before she finds what we realize is probably the guy from that boat, because she finds him. I guess Tyler didn't fill the shark up. So we end up seeing this terribly, disgustedly disfigured guy in a life vest. So Tom jumps in and manages to get her freaking ass back to the ski, and they just like wait out the night. Now, day 2, their plane's gone. It's the next day, so you have all of this talk. Day 2, they're getting pretty dehydrated out there. They end up deciding to get the vest off of the dead guy, so they end up pulling the body up to the jet ski. They get the vest off, and there's pieces of the boat. So they get planks, to use as paddles. So they get that, and then they start trying to paddle for shore. When we get the shark attack, of course. The shark's not going to have that. He bites at one of the planks and ends up grabbing a hold of Tom, like comes up out the water, grabs a hold of Tom, rips his leg to fucking hell. So, bites his leg very bad. The shark begins to circle them in tighter and tighter circles, stalking them. They're, of course, freaking out. When all of a sudden the shark disappears after, about 10 circles, closer and closer and closer, and it goes. That's when we get this nice jump scare, because it does a bottom. It comes up from the bottom, and it's decided that it is through playing. So it sends them all three into the air like rag dolls. And they all land in the water in different places. And then all of a sudden, it comes up for a second bottom blow. And I wrote, excellent scene. Let me tell you, I was stunned at how cool that scene was. How do you explain it? How can I explain it? The shark comes up underneath Tom and with its nose, bangs him and throws him up sideways into the air, and then that's his torso, right? And just goes and immediately opens its mouth like he's like an orca playing with a seal. So that was the coolest fucking scene. It was like Matrix kind of slow motion. That was excellent special effects. I will give them that, because it looks real. Really excellent CGI. Or what part of that was CGI? And when it bites him, you see the bite. It lets him go. He falls back in the water, and that is ugly. Like when they get Tom pulled back up to the jet ski and they pull him up onto it, wow, does that look grotesque. It was whoever did the makeup effects in this movie was really good, because you're going, oh wow, shit, that looks for real. There was nothing fake looking about that. Totally practical, right? Which is another surprise of me. It's turning out, I'm noticing a lot of these more independent, lower budget movies are, I guess, practical. I don't know. I guess it's less expensive than fancy CGI. So I think there's a lot of young special effects people out there who are getting really good at practical effects again, and obviously it's cheaper, and because they're doing practical so well, some of these real low budget independent movies are just, it's not 80s cheese practical effects. This shit looks good. And I was totally grossed out with the bites on his torso. And I felt so sorry for him, because he's trying to stay alive. He is in immense pain, right, with these gigantic gashes down his torso, and they're filming it and they're talking to him and trying to keep him conscious, and you're seeing this, and it was excellent. I'm just saying, the special, the practical effects, every single bit of it looked real. I mean, the way it was cut open, the flesh underneath was just fucking gross, and it was fucking really real looking. So they get him on the ski. Now we get another phenomenal scene, and that is where Millie has fallen into the water, and Natalie grabs her by the arms and is trying to pull her back up on the jet ski, when the shark gets her, comes in, grabs her, and I was actually really having anxiety at this point, because it's not a chomp and a run. Okay, he grabs a hold, and it's almost like a tug of war between Natalie and the shark. So the shark is underneath her, and they are filming it like over Natalie's shoulder. And the pain on that girl's face and the distress as it's doing the thing is awful, and Natalie's just screaming, it's okay, it'll be all right. And this girl is being, what do you think? From her belly button down, all of a sudden it's just like blood comes out of her mouth, and Natalie is still holding on to her, and half of her is gone. And the camera like swings around and shows it from the back angle where she is just hanging there in Natalie's arms, and there's nothing there from the belly button down. And that looked really, really good as well. So, what I put damn. Millie is eaten in half while Natalie holds her arms, and I put in parentheses, I put damn, because it was. Tom's makeup effects are excellent. Natalie tries to fix the ski, because they've attempted several times to figure out what the fuck is wrong with this ski, the jet ski. So, Natalie, of course, had been ripped out of that vest, because, of course, Natalie lets her go once there's only half of her left, and the shark takes the rest of her. The vest pops up, and there's cords and stuff on the vest. And so as Natalie is looking in the jet ski to try to figure out what was wrong with it, she notices that the fuel line is cut. That's why that's why it won't crank. So she sees things on that vest that are tubular, and if she can get a hold of them and somehow join that thing, the fuel line, she could get the thing started. So she has to jump out there with everything that she has seen to get that vest. So she jumps in to get it. The shark comes up. This shark is a real asshole, right? Because it's like it knows what she's doing, and it's like, you know what? So it just swims between her and the jet ski and just pushes the jet ski away from her. And I was like, that was rude. It's like, come on. Just eat them. Why you got to play with them like little toys? And that's exactly what this shark is doing. It's like going, haha. So he did that. And then it turns around and faces off with her like a fucking Western, like OK Corral, And she had managed, there was this really sharp, jagged part in there, in the broken jet ski thing. She had managed to get that before she jumped in. So she basically just faces off with the shark. The shark runs at her, and she's like, come get it, what else can you do? I guess if you're in that situation, you can scream and cry, or you can just go, I'm going to go out like Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? Just bring it on, bitch. So the shark comes at her, and it jumps, and she jumps too. And she does manage to stab it in the eye and stuff. And it gets a nice chomp out of her, though. She's got this nice bite right down. So she's damaged pretty bad. But the shark has got a boo-boo as well. So she manages to get back onto the ski and bleeding like a fucking stuck pig. And you got Tom sitting there, ripped to shreds. And she does manage to fix the jet ski. She figures it out, gets the thing, and manages to get it crank. To get it to crank. So she fixes the line, and then both of them, she gets him in a lot of pain to sit his ass up properly behind her while they head for shore. So they're doing that. They head to shore. They're almost there when the shark comes and is like, yeah, you fucked me up a little bit, but, I am a fucking great white, like a 15-foot great white. So, so what does he do? Oh, he starts like biting pieces off of it. Now, I thought we were going to have a final boy and a final girl, but that doesn't work out because you know what he does. It really reminded me of the blonde guy, Blake, from Shark Night, because he threw himself off to save that other guy. And Tom decides to do the same thing. And that is, the jet ski is not moving as fast because it's weighted down. There's two people on it. So he figures that if he throws himself to the shark, because he probably thought, I'm not living through this anyway. And I'm not pretty no more if I do. So, he decides to do that. And she doesn't know, and he's like, tell them that I was really a good guy. Don't tell people that I was an asshole. Keep that secret and tell them that I was a stand-up guy. And he throws his ass off the jet ski. And she screams, and of course, like what? But of course, the jet ski really picks up speed after that because, this big dude, and what was left of him anyway, is shark bait. And she starts going to shore. So Tom, of course, gets eaten up. So he jumps in to lighten the ski and is eaten very well. She hauls ass. Right at the shore, it was probably like 50 yards. She fucking hits a goddamn reef. Right? So she hits the reef, which knocks her into the water. And she just starts trying to swim. Now, the shark is on her ass and coming fast. The way she gets out of it is that there's all these little reefs, and she's like swimming between them, and the shark is coming, and he gets like 2 feet from her. She's maybe fucking 10 yards from shore, and the shark is almost at her when she swims in between these 2 reefs, and the shark is like not thinking correctly. But I guess all he sees is, I want that bitch. So he's not paying attention to the fact that he's fixing to get stuck. So as she swims, he like gets about that far from her, and then his head gets stuck between those 2 reefs. Reefs. I'm not an English teacher. So she goes on. She manages to make it to the shore, turns around, and the shark is not killed. It was only damaged from her stab. I suppose it backs up and goes, fuck. Alright, come back out here one more time. I'll catch you sooner or later. Which, so it was really left open for a sequel because the shark is still there. It's not hurt. Well, it was hurt when she stabbed it. But I think now it's just pissed off. So it left it open for a sequel, and that was it. The movie ends with her doing that. Now, I gave this a 7.3 out of 10. This movie also tripped me up a little bit. The first half of the movie, I was like, I didn't appreciate the first half of the movie until the movie was over. And let me explain. The first half of the movie, I was like, is anything going to happen? Now you have to think back to Jaws, and you have to think about, maybe today we expect Michael Bay shit to start right out the gate. And I think I fell for that because, like, for the first half of the movie, I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I mean, these are, I'm liking these people, but, like, nothing's happening, right? Except it looks like I'm watching fucking American Pie on spring break or something. And when the movie kicked in, when the second half started, I was like, and the movie ended, all the shit that I just told you. When the movie ended, I was like, you know what? I cared about these people, and that helped. The anxiety, I felt sorry for every one of them when they got killed. Um, Tom was an asshole. Millie was a slut, obviously. They cheated on Natalie. Um, but as human beings, I knew them. I felt like I knew them, you know. And that was the first half of the movie. And I'm like, it was character development. And I guess you don't expect character development in a little indie, low budget shark movie. And I tell you what, you also don't expect the fucking excellent practical effects that are in this fucking film. Because when the scenes were done, they were fucking good. Tyler's kill was good. Millie's kill was awful. Tom's bite was just amazing. So yeah, it really did redeem itself. That's Millie, the blonde. Natalie is behind her. And the other three pictures aren't really anything important. I think the middle one is where they crashed, you know, doing the stupid playing chicken. But yeah, I really appreciated the first half of the movie when this movie ended. Because once it kicked in, I felt like I knew Tom, I knew Tyler, and I knew Greg, and I knew Natalie, and I knew Millie. And so their deaths and their panic and their boo-boos were like, they meant a lot more to me. So yeah, the movie surprised me because the first half of the movie I was, this is slow, this is, nothing's happening, you know. I didn't know what to think at the first half of the movie, but I appreciated it when the movie was over, which is why you should give movies a chance. Because the last half, the second half of this movie, the last half, like there's any other half, the last half made me appreciate the first half. So that was pretty cool, you know, and I give it to the writer, you know. And it did teach me a lesson. Every once in a while you have to have a little lesson, and that is to don't judge a movie until it's done, right? It's like, you know, you eat a little bit of frosting off the chocolate pie and you're like, I don't know, that it doesn't have enough sugar in it and all. Well, if you didn't wait until you finished the slice and then you're like, oh, well, it all blended together at the end and that was a fucking good pie. If you'd have thrown the pie down, you'd have just went away hungry and missed out on some shit. And that's the way I feel about this movie. Is I kind of thought it was slow at first and then realized that it was just me being impatient and me not paying attention to the fact that there was character development going on that I didn't realize was going on until they started getting killed. And then I started being like, oh man, that was wrong. So yeah, that was Shark Night, Shark Bait, and Terror Runs Deep. Yeah. Excellent practical effects. I really liked the kills. There was only, what, 4? But there was some attacks. The attacks were as bad as the kills. They couldn't just kill them. They had to maim them and mutilate them before later killing them. So it worked out really well. That is 2022's Shark Bait, my day 4 spotlight for my second Shark Week. And I will be back with another. Love you, miss you. Bye-bye. Always remember, never forget, you are a very special person. And if you get a chance, give this movie a chance. I thought it was really cool. Keep an eye out for that torso bite scene in midair of Tom. The awful bite on Greg, and then him being dragged away. And poor Millie being bitten in half, face to face with her best friend. It was good. It was a decent, very decent movie. So yes, that is Shark Bake. I will see you in the next one, which will be the first of the 3 open waters, and I will see you then. Love you, miss you. Bye bye. 35 minutes, not bad.